I'd like to move Mike into the kind of when we first met, and right before this call, we were trying to figure it out. I don't know. I figure it's at least 7 or maybe 8 years. Where did you first find out about me?
Um, Geez, I'm trying to remember that. I do remember. I think it may be coming across a website that you were doing tours in Baja, or you were working with a company that was doing tours in Baja.
Yeah, my brother's company.
Okay, yeah, yeah, and I think somehow through that I heard about you. Yeah.
Then I believe you bought my book. And what were some of the kind of aha moments or things that you noticed from my teachings, or maybe subsequent calls or teleseminars that kind of resonated with you that helped you move down the path of your marketing communications?
Well, I think as you mentioned, you can see a lot of them on our website right now. I tended to, in the early years, in our marketing material and our website, really underestimate the power and the necessity of that social proof. I always thought it was enough that we could put great photos and videos and stuff like that online, and people would say, "Wow, that looks amazing. I want to go do that." But then you realize that there's another 50 companies out there doing the same thing, maybe even in the same places. And you need to give people a compelling reason why they would want to spend their money with you in particular. And so we've gone to great lengths to incorporate things like testimonials and awards and talk about our safety record, all over our website. So I think that was one of the big takeaways. And probably the other was the importance of copywriting and headlines. And we spent we've got I think probably over 25 different trips now, and from the trip overview to the itinerary to the details and stuff like that, there's a ton of copy that has to go into our website. And in the past, it might have been a little, maybe not quite as much thought put into it, but when we launched this website, every word was carefully considered, and we put a lot of time into writing it, and that's something I learned from you talking about the importance of headlines and copywriting and stuff like that. And you realize that when people are using the internet these days, even more so than they were 10, 15 years ago when there weren't so many web pages, they really skim quickly, right? So a good headline is worth its weight in gold. You have to capture their attention with that headline and make them want to not leave that page. So stuff like that is really important.
You've done an excellent job, Mike. Thank you for sharing that. You've done a great job, and not only the headlines, but one of the things I really like about your site is it's so simple but so powerful. You've got these great, compelling pictures of someone engaged, and so you start the fantasy. Oh, that could be me. But then you've got this short, very tight little quote or kind of an inspirational word on the photograph. It's right there, and it reinforces that the dream. Or you got that little testimonial, and then right there, right in that first screenshot, you see you've got the magazine cover, trip of the lifetime, man, and it's all there. So I'm thrilled that you've picked up not only the power of social proof, but also the copywriting, and you're so true. People, they've done all kinds of studies on this, and the way people actually go through sites, and they're going to be scanning for certain things. So not only the headlines grab them, but certain subheads, and the way you chunk the copy down is key, and you've done a great job at that. And when I do the video recording of your site and to highlight some of those things, I'll be pointing that out, as well as a couple other things I think that might even take it to the next level. I noticed that I know that one of the things that you've been good at and and social proof is in Facebook and in social media, and you integrate not only your same headlines and social proof in your website, but tell us how you're integrating that in your other online and offline marketing. How does this concept of marketing communication permeate all your tourism marketing?
Yeah, so we have a busy Facebook page, over 7,600 fans on there, and very very active community. You know, we've had some posts that have generated over 100 comments and several hundred likes. Actually, one of my, a bit of an aside, but one of my favorite examples of how Facebook really worked out well for us is we wanted to develop a new poster. We had a poster campaign that we wanted to do for local bike shops, and so the first thing we went to our fans for this. And the first thing we did was we posted a bunch of photos and said we want to select a photo for our next poster, our next marketing poster. Help us select one. Just click like on the one you like best, and generated a huge flurry of responses. Some of these pictures had a couple hundred likes, and there was maybe half a dozen of them, and all told they generated over 1,000 likes on Facebook. So the next step, we selected a photo and we selected 2 photos, and we asked people to help us come up with some headlines for them.
Nice.
We picked a few of our own, and then we asked people to submit their own. And again, dozens and dozens of comments and likes, and just tremendous amount of engagement on that. And then we went back to them with different poster and quote combinations. And all told, this lasted about 3 or 4 days. And if you were to total up the numbers on that campaign, they were staggering. Thousands and thousands of comments over those 3 days and likes. And we ended up, with a couple of posters that we really love, but it almost became a marketing campaign in itself, because these people were sharing this with their friends and commenting on it, and so it became a mini campaign within Facebook, having people looking at all these different posters, and so that we really try to engage with our clients on that, and go to them, and not just see it as a sales medium, just pushing out sales message, because when you do that, people just tune out. When you really engage with people, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or your blog, that's when people really respond. So we try to keep it as much two-way as we can. My other example is something that has been enjoying great success. It's something we call our ambassador program. And so we came up with these 2 posters from this Facebook campaign, and we've created this ambassador program. You log in you go online to our site, and you under where it says Save Money is the ambassador program, and you can download these posters, print them out, and take them to your local bike shop, and you take a photo of that poster up in your local bike shop, fill out a form online, and for every bike store that you post a poster at, we give you a $50 credit towards a trip, up to 50% of the value of the trip. And we've had dozens of people all over the world putting up posters for us, and we could never do that. I can't travel down to Atlanta to poster bike shops there, and so that's been a great, just another customer engagement thing that we've done. So we like to give people an opportunity to engage with us however they can. We've given people. We recognize that not everybody can afford to go on a trip with us, and so we give people lots of opportunities to lower the cost. We have a barter program. If you have something of value, just pitch us, and we'll consider it, and we'll barter up to 50% of the value. And that's what I actually did for our current website with our designer. I traded her a couple of trips for design, and the ambassador program, referral programs, you name it. There's all kinds of opportunities for people to engage with us and go on a trip that they might not otherwise be able to afford.
Brilliant, Mike. I love it. It's guerrilla marketing at its best, and but in the 21st century, in the world of social media, you've done a great job in engaging your community, and in the 2 ways that I really love there is getting them to vote on what they like. Then they're enrolled and have a stake in your success. They have a stake in the image. And yes, maybe some people can't afford to go on your trips yet, but they have an affinity for what you do. They resonate with the types of trips, the activities, the places you go, and the activities you do, and they want to be a part of that too. I love the poster idea. That's a great one. I'll in post production. I think I'll bring in your website and show people where they can do that. The viewers of this who want to participate, they can do that. So, brilliant idea. As we wrap up here, knowing that there's a lot of travel professionals, thousands all over the world, and that are looking for ideas, looking for advice, frankly, looking for some inspiration. We're a community of hundreds of thousands of people like you and me, but we're scattered all over the world. And part of my goal in doing these tourism marketing TV interviews and my podcast is to both bring that community together, get your input, get your ideas, and learn from each other. Because you're going to have a brilliant idea over here, and my brother in Baja, he might have another idea, and you see that and go, oh, that's great, we can use that. Mm-hmm. And, us helping each other, that's what it's all about, so that we can make a great living pursuing our passion, so we don't have to be stuck in some office doing economics and in some place we don't want to be. So anyway, Mike, what would be some of your top advice that you might have for a current or even a future travel professional who's considering starting a business or already has one and wants to take it to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Well, I do a lot of mentoring. I actually run a youth business incubator where we support youth with grants and mentoring and workspace and that kind of stuff. And I deliver a lot of workshops around this. And, one of the things I mentioned earlier that I tell people that 90% of success is just showing up. So, stick with it and persist. And you're gonna have challenges. You're gonna have dark days. And if it's really something that resonates with you deep down inside your core, keep at it. And that also has to be grounded in reality, because often entrepreneurs can just put on the blinders and they think, I've got to make this succeed. I'm just going to keep pushing at it to the detriment, of their own lives and their families. So you have to ground that in reality and an understanding of the marketplace and what's out there. So, and that sort of leads to my second point, is that many entrepreneurs fall into the trap of they're essentially trying to sell a good or a product or a service to themselves, and they think they know what the marketplace wants, and they're going to put it out there, and often they find the market doesn't quite respond the way they thought it would, and often that's because they based it on some faulty assumptions, and they haven't taken the time to really understand their market. And so when I teach these classes, I tell my students to really take a customer-centric approach, and really everything about the business should be done with the customer in mind, and really understanding what drives that customer, and not just what good or product do they want, but what really drives them. What are their motivational drivers in life? What drives them on a daily basis, and so a lot of our efforts are based in really understanding our customers, whether it's through social media, whether it's as soon as somebody books a trip with me, they're sent a link to a 5-minute survey that really tries to understand their purchase, their sort of that decision-making process for them. What happened in that lead up to making the decision to, and they're making a significant decision to spend $2,000 or $3,000 with us. So it's not something that most people take lightly, and we have a great understanding of how that decision process happens for most people. But we also survey people during the trip. We survey them after their trip, periodic intervals, throughout the year. And we have a great understanding of who our customers are, what they want out of life, what they want from us. And that really helps drive our marketing and our product. And so, those are probably two of my best tips, is just showing up and understanding your customer.
Awesome stuff, Mike. I couldn't agree with you more, and I love the fact that you're doing a post-purchase survey, and I'm willing to bet that your customers who understand that really what you're committed to their satisfaction, you're committed to creating the ultimate product that's going to help them. They appreciate that and are further engaged and enroll in participating in that, and you're bringing them into your community by saying, hey, what's important to you? Let me work on fulfill meeting and exceeding those expectations. And I do the same thing when people buy my course. I immediately ask them that, I want to know, what was it that inspired you to make this purchase today? I want to know what your needs are, what your expectations are, and also, what's keeping you up at night. I know for a lot of travel professionals, you've heard me say this before, it's hard to enhance quality of life, which is the business we're in when you can't pay your mortgage. So let's make some money. And so I've done a lot of surveys, and I couldn't agree more. Mike, this has been awesome. Once again, how can people get a hold of you so they can see some of your awesome social media guerrilla marketing?
So you can find us online at sacredrides.com, SACREDRIDES.com. On Facebook, facebook.com/sacredridesmtb. And by phone, 1-888-423-7849. That's toll free in North America, or +1 647 999 7955 outside of North America.
And congratulations once again, Mike, on your 15-year anniversary, your 15-year birthday, and being the third winner of the Travel Websites of Sales Superstar. So I'm proud and honored to give that to you and your organization, and be sure to pass it on to your team, because who are helping create that. And I think that actually when you see the video, you might even see a few little things in there that help you take it to the next level. So Mike, thank you, sir. I really appreciate you sharing, and I look forward to tracking your continued adventures around the globe.
Thanks, Tim. It was a pleasure.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Mike Bertich with Sacred Rides Mountain Bike Adventures, and I just wanted to give Tim a little shout out. We met about 8 years ago when I was still running a little company called Fernie Fat Tire Adventures in British Columbia. And my company has since grown to be one of the largest mountain bike tour operators in the world. And I attribute no small part of that to Tim's sage advice. In particular, I learned a lot about the importance of social proof and giving people a reason to buy from you, as opposed to maybe one of the other dozens or hundreds of companies out there that they can buy from, and understanding how to write good copy, good headlines, and really creating a winning website. And I've incorporated a lot of those tools all throughout our website, our marketing materials, and everything we do in the company. And I wouldn't hesitate to recommend Tim and his excellent products to anybody. So take the lead.